how to get out of your negative equity in your current auto loan best. How do you do it? Looking to get a new car, but you know that you've heard this term, you're underwater or you have negative equity in your vehicle. What does that mean? Well, I'm going to tell you. You have a car, say you owe $28,000 on the car. You bought it a couple of years ago. Listen, you're going to have twins. I had twins. It changes everything. The car's worth 20 grand because that's the way the market works. Cars are a depreciating asset. They're not a good investment. You buy these things knowing that you're going to take a bath on them later. What is a bath? Ask your kids. I don't have time for this. Anyways, $8,000 negative. Now, you say, well, geez, that doesn't happen to me. It happens all the time, okay? People take auto loans out for 6-7 years, and then they have this thing happen here, okay? So now you need to get a newer vehicle. So you need to get a third row vehicle, but you gotta be able to absorb that negative equity, right? Because some banks, they're only gonna give you, banks will give you roughly 120% of retail value, which is, or I'll write here, MSRP this is a new car. Bank will give you about that. So if you think about a car and it's $20,000 and 120% of that, so as you can see, the math gets mathy. And that's how you do it. You would take a vehicle that you get a vehicle that maybe is $40,000 and you roll it in. Well, now you're gonna owe an extra. We're gonna take this money and say we have a $40,000 vehicle. We're adding in this $8,000. So now you're taking out $48,000 on a vehicle that the MSRP is 40 grand, and you just saw how much money you lost when you bought this car initially. You lose like 20% of the vehicle the second you buy it. 2 years, you're down to like 60% of what the vehicle is worth, 60 to 70, depending on the vehicle. Now, there's two ways to handle this. You can finance this, right? People do that all the time. Traditional finance, auto loans. Check the video. It's in there. You go for 72 months or whatever. 72 months, that's 800. Call it almost $1,000 a month. Something like that. 84, call it 800 or 850 or something. The math is wrong, but you get the idea. So that's how you do it if you want to finance. But you just lived this scenario before, where this vehicle, you're rolling to that one. Well, what happens in 2 years if something changes? What if the SUV you have, the gas mileage is terrible, and you have to, it's too much, and you're making this horrible car payment. By the way, the average car payment right now for a used vehicle is $700, and the average for a new car is like $900 or something stupid. 2026, June 30th. Mark it down. So, what I suggest you do to help you get out of this negative equity quickly is you lease. This is the best way to get rid of negative equity. So you lease, right? What is a lease? Well, a lease is kind of like a rental. The bank has a vehicle. People will say, well, I don't really own it. Nobody owns the vehicle besides the bank if you're financing or leasing. No matter how you finance the vehicle, how you pay for the vehicle, the bank owns it until you pay it. What a lease does is it shortens this term. So now you're down to like 36 months. Maybe the payment is like $1,100 or $1,200 or whatever, right? It's going to be a little more most likely. But at the end of this term, 36 months, guess what happens? Guess what happens? You are done. At 36 months, you're done. You take the keys, you get it back to them, and this is you. Look how happy you are. You're happy. Now that negative equity is gone. This $8,000. This is cool. This $8,000, which you would have financed, and you say what payment? Halfway through this thing, say 36 months, halfway through this, you would have probably still owed, it would have been negative equity still. Let's just be honest. You would have negative equity still if you do this. At worst, you're breaking even. I highly doubt it. The leasing, you're done. You're under warranty the whole time. You don't have to worry about anything. You're done. So, I mean, if you can afford the higher payment and you want to keep that vehicle, you're 100% sure you're going to keep that vehicle, do it. I always recommend doing the shorter term and paying a higher car payment because you do not want to be in this situation for life. And trust me when I say it's a vast majority of people who are in negative equity situations because they're not putting money down, they're financing for too long. So leasing makes a lot of sense, especially if you don't keep your cars very long. 2-3 years and you're making moves, especially the younger generation, hell, I'll include myself, I wanted a new car every year, which is terrible by the way. But hopefully this helps. Leasing is the best way. If you have any questions, ask the Car Guy Paul. Like, subscribe, share. I'll see you in the next video, guys.